Hello guys, let me explain to you how we use Geogebra to create a scatter plot and also how we get a best fit line for your helicopter drop problem. So what I got here is some students' table that I found in my classroom, so I'm going to use this. Um, what it has right here is some data of how their helicopter fell. Okay, so we have time. This is helicopter A, the short propellered one, and height. So we got our two columns. What we're going to do for our equation that we're going to write in the line, time is going to be our input variable. So we're going to put this as our x variable in our rule. Height's going to be our output. So this is going to be like our y variable. Okay, so what I'm going to do in GeoGebra, make sure you have your GeoGebra open and make sure you're following along. Pause and do what you need to do as you work with the video. Um, just so you know, and this is called our graphics window, the main screen here. There's a little arrow on the left side of the graphics label. If you click on that arrow, we have a little, it just drops the options that we have for the graphics, which we can turn our axes on if they're not already on. We can also hide them with that button if we don't want them, but let's turn them on. And let's turn our grid on. So here's our normal grid here. So let's go to view and we're going to view our spreadsheet so that we can enter our data. So this column A here is going to be our time column. We're going to put in this time data right here. And then my column B is my height data. So I'm going to even label it so I don't forget what they are. In this first cell, I'm going to just call it time. So do this as I'm doing it too. And then we'll call this B row here. I'm not saying column or yeah, column, excuse me, is the height column. So now we can just start putting our time, and we can even put a space if we want to separate numbers in our labeling here. It doesn't matter where really we start our data. So now in my time and height, I'm just going to fill in um, my data here. So do that. Do that yourself while I'm doing it on the video here if you want. But I'm going to put in this column first and this column. So I'm going to put in 1.1. So as I'm doing this, make sure that you're doing yours. Oh, what? 1.8. Okay, and then 6. Okay, so I got all my data in. If you're not ready yet, just pause the video, get your data put in. But I got my time from the worksheet from the table, and I got my height. Um, so now let's make a scatter plot. So what I'm going to do is with the mouse, I'm going to click on my first data point here, and then I'm going to click and drag and highlight everything. All right, and then I'm going to go over to my third toolbox here, and I'm going to hit the down arrow, and I'm going to select the tool that's called Create List of Points. So based off the data, we're going to create points. GeoGebra will default the name of it to list one, which we don't really care what the name is. It shows us what the list is going to be. So list one is going to be these input-output pairs, 1.1 and 4.55, right? So from my table, just went to ordered pairs so we can graph them. So let's hit create, and we can see some of our data, right? So now if we click on the white here, we get our normal tools. This is the white on the graphic screen. Excuse me. Okay, so I need to see all my data here. If I look at my time, which is my x-axis, right, that's my input column here. So time, um, the longest this helicopter fell was 1.8, so I can see 1.8. If I grab my Move Graphics view, I'm going to just change this around so I can see all my points. I can even stretch this out. Remember how to do that with your graphics tool. Click on the axis, and it turns into arrows, and we can drag out our time. since 1.8 is my largest, there I got my 1.8 and I can see my data here. This data right now, just so you know, is pretty, I don't see a very good correlation. There's a little one, like it's going up, but we got a whole bunch of points that are way out here. So I think our data collection, whoever's this is, wasn't very good. But we can still get a line of best fit. Okay. Also, my height, my biggest height is 18, so I'm going to grab my y-axis here and drag it down so that I can see my point there, which is right there. So now let's have Geogebra make the line of best fit. Okay, so I'm going to click and drag and highlight all my data again. Sorry, getting some emails. So I got my data selected. Now what I'm going to do in my second toolbox, this is our analysis toolbox, and I'm going to click the down arrow, and I'm going to do two variable regression analysis. Okay, so what that means is it's going to take my two variables, the time and the height, those are the two variables, and it's going to do an analysis and create a line of best fit. Okay, so here's our columns that we wanted to take a look at. So we hit analyze. It gives the scatter plot again. Down in the bottom left, it says regression model. So right now it says none, but we're going to go linear. And what it does is it puts a linear line, well, line through our data here, and this is our line of best fit. And in red here, it gives you the equation. So the equation of this line is 6.4635x. So that's going to be its slope. And then we've got the y-intercept of 0.9. Okay, so there is the line of best fit from Geogebra. So we entered the data, we got a line of best fit to explain the data from a computer program. So make sure you write down your equation because we're going to talk about that tomorrow. All right, thanks guys.